Okay, I'd like to call today's meeting to order. Would you please all rise and say the pledge with me? Yes, we do. Barely.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yes, we do have quorum by just. Okay, approval, is there any additions or changes to the agenda?
No.
All right, I got a motion and support. All in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Opposed? All right, the agenda. Moving on to approval of the minutes from September 3rd's meeting. Yes? I got a motion? Did I got a second? Yeah, I got a second. All right. All in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Opposed? All right. First, moving on to item number 5, limited public comments. We have no public. Everybody here's got speaking, so I guess we'll move on. Agency reporting, the CMH?
Yeah, Sarah Laurie from CMH was on the agenda to do her semi-annual report today, and she had car trouble this morning, so she asked if we could reschedule that, so I will look at your calendar and find another date for her.
All right, thank you very much. All right, so that moves us on to number 7, construction codes. Good morning.
I am here on behalf of Construction Code Planning and Zoning. Mr. Garrison, our director, is at his building officials training for the week. It's a statewide training held for all building officials and building inspectors. A couple of positive notes, our building permits, our permits in general have been up the last 3 months. And our inspections are remaining stable. In the past month, we have had 19 new homes in Eaton County, which includes six site-built, and then the rest are manufactured homes. So construction is stabling.
Okay. And then we move on to. Yes, yes. Commissioner.
Chair. Good morning, Brandy.
Good morning.
Question arose, when you report on mobile homes, the majority of those are going into parks, correct?
Majority are going into manufactured home communities, but not all of them.
Okay.
They are allowed to be placed on private property.
But don't, and I can't remember how it's worded, so please correct me if I'm wrong, but do we still allow single-wide mobile homes on private property?
Yes, they are allowed. Per the Eaton County zoning ordinance, there can't be more than 4 homes within a quarter-mile radius of the property lines in which the single-wide manufactured home is placed.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. I was asked that question. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Then who was going to speak on the contract update?
Oh, I thought you were gonna start it.
Okay, I guess I am. All right, so the update that we have so far from townships, a couple of the townships took the lead and got with townships to see who would sign on to do a contract. We had already known that Eaton Township was not going to join, so we have a signed letter of intent from Walton, I have it here, from Brookfield, Vermontville, Calamo, Bellevue, and
Chester.
Sorry. So right now, that's where we're at. The others are either not doing anything or are working to get their own planning and zoning.
From what we understand, Eaton and Eaton Rapids are moving forward with their own undetermined what Sunfield, Roxand, and Carmel are doing at this time.
So we're back to where we are, only having 6 townships. The issue with the townships, we either do it or we don't. Because we either have a county ordinance, we would have to wait until the others got their own zoning up and running, just like we did with Hamlin Township, so they just went out of ours. For the others, if we wanted to keep doing it, we're still under a county ordinance. So that's where we can't. And I don't know, Claudine, if you want to go through what we got from legal as far as repealing.
Yeah, so when you repeal a zoning ordinance, it has to be done in the same manner it was adopted. So it has to go through a public hearing, and that public hearing goes through the planning commission. So that's where it would have to start. So if today you directed staff to start that process, there would be a public hearing at the planning commission on November 4th. This committee would hear that resolution and ordinance to repeal and recommend it to the board, which would hear it November 19th. It has to be published in the paper, and then it has 7 days to be effective. Questionable whether or not we could get it in the paper because of their deadline. So to be safe, I calculated it with a November 29th published date, which means it would be effective December 6th. So December 6th is when it would be effectively repealed. If you wanted to give them till the end of December, then it would go to the Planning Commission on December 2nd, this committee on December 3rd, the board on December 17th, and then it would be effective January 3rd. So those would be your two options for repealing for the time frame.
Does any commissioner have any comments or discussion on, yes, Commissioner?
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jane. Can you just review what repealing the ordinance means to the rest of the county?
So Jane asked what repealing the ordinance would mean to the rest of the county. So what it means is the county would no longer have a county zoning ordinance. So each individual township would be responsible for their own planning and zoning. So charter townships already do that. So Delta, Windsor, and Oneida, and Benton, they're all charter. They do all of their own planning and zoning. Hamlin does their own planning and zoning, but they're not a charter. They just took on that responsibility themselves. So if the county no longer does it, the individual townships would have to do it. What that means is they're responsible for approving all of the site plans for building permit locations. They're responsible for all their approval of their land divisions, lot line adjustments, all of the special use permits that happen on properties, all of the variances that people are requesting on their properties for setbacks or use of the property in some manner. They would be responsible for having their own planning commission, for having their own zoning board of appeals. If they choose to have a junk enforcement in their ordinance, they'd be responsible for their own junk enforcement and all of the legalities for ticketing and going to court and whatnot for all of their responsibilities for junk, just to name a few.
So they all have the local, these townships all have their own local.
They would all have they would have to develop their own master plan, their plan for their community and what it's gonna look like. That's a requirement per Public Act. And then they additionally would have to have their own zoning ordinance that is administered through the master plan. So they would have to have both of those documents in place as well.
But they can join together, so their own can, like you can use their own, or they join together and.
Yeah, so
As a
there's.
group.
Yeah, so there's a regional planning act that doesn't have very many teeth to it, I guess you would say. But there is also the potential of a joint planning act that's available only to cities, villages, and townships that they might be able to join together and do something with that.
But wouldn't they still have to get a master plan and
Yes.
not living in a township where this isn't in practice? So what's the likelihood that people just won't get inspections done?
So. No, yeah, there you go. So inspections, as far as building permitting, would still get done because the county would still do those. The county would still be responsible for the building code, which would be any building and/or trade permit, mechanical, plumbing, et cetera. We'd still be responsible for that. So if a township has its own zoning ordinance and they come in to pull a building permit, but we don't have approval from the township for the zoning and the building placement, then they would have to go back to the township and get that before the building permit could be processed. If the township doesn't have a master plan or zoning ordinance, they've just decided to not have anything at all, then we would just approve the building permit because the township doesn't have any requirements because they haven't adopted any.
Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr.
Osha.
Chair. Claudine, and I know you've got tons of spare time. Would it be possible for you to print out something for the commissioners with a delineation of duties? So if we decide to repeal this ordinance, just exactly what the county would be responsible for and what the townships would, the general law townships would be responsible for?
Yeah, we can do that, but essentially all the county's gonna be responsible for is the building and trade permits.
Right. Well,
But, the department already has a list of all their responsibilities and what they do, so. yeah,
okay, because there was a
Provide that, certainly.
discussion at Eaton Township last Wednesday, if you're aware of. And some of the questions that arose were the legalities for the townships versus the county. What liability would fall directly or squarely in the lap of the townships at that point? What would be removed from the county's responsibility? One other question that came up after the fact, if we don't have county planning and zoning, where do the parks fall in? Do they fall into the townships, or will the county still have planning and zoning for the parks?
So the parks have their own master plan, and they have a strategic plan for a couple of the parks, and we're required by law to have that. So they still would have a master plan and a strategic plan through the county, but the actual zoning for the parks would be for whatever jurisdiction it's located in. So Crandall Park, for example, is in Eaton Township. So if the county wants to do anything in Crandall Park, it would have to go through the township.
Through the township, okay. And that would be, if they have their own planning and zoning, then it would end at that point with the township, or then it would progress to the county?
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Well, if the township approves something, some project at Crandall Park, for instance, that's the only step they have to go through, or then does it go?
You still need a building permit if it
If you're building
rises to the
something.
level of a building permit, unless the township's gonna do their own building as well. But yeah, so Crandall Park's pretty much a blank slate right now,
Right.
but we have that strategic plan. So say, once the township does their own planning and zoning, we have approval right now for a few things in the park, but we don't have approval for the campground. That's a good example. So if Crandall Park, we wanted to put a campground in next year, then we would be going through the township for the approval of the land use for the campground. And then if it requires any building permits for any bathhouses or anything like that, then that would have to be approved by the township, and then we'd have to get building permits for it, whether that's at the township or
At the county level,
county.
likely at the county level then. All right, thank you, Claudia.
Commissioner Toomey?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you mentioned a couple different dates on when this could take effect if we decided to go through with it. You know, how long is realistic to create a master planning and zoning ordinances in a community? I mean, like, I don't know how
A
much.
master plan would be minimum 6 months, and that's aggressive. The thing about a master plan is you have to give a 63-day review period. So the Public Act is specific about who you have to mail copies of it. So you have to mail out a notice of intent to plan, and then once you have the master plan, you have to send it out for a 63-day review period. So 6 months, and that's aggressive.
So
Right.
pretty tight.
So then a township could adopt an interim zoning ordinance, and that can be done pretty quickly because you don't have to have public hearings and whatnot for an interim ordinance, and then you can have that interim ordinance for a year. But if you want to also develop an ordinance that's not interim, then that would take a couple months to run that through the public hearings and be effective, because that would be the same manner that we would have to go through to repeal. So they would have to develop the zoning ordinance, have a public hearing, and then go through
So when they
publishing in
have
the paper and waiting 7 days.
an interim ordinance, they can just approve it at like their,
Their board can just adopt an interim ordinance.
okay, and they can do whatever they want
Yep.
with that? Okay,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
But you don't have to have the master plan done in order to establish the interim ordinance.
You have to have a master plan no matter what. You always have to have the master plan first, because the master plan is what the zoning ordinance is based on. So your master plan is what you want your community to look like, and then the zoning ordinance is built to get you there.
Yep.
So
So,
you always have to have a master plan first.
but currently, the county has a master plan.
Correct.
So could that township adopt that master plan that covers their their township, adopt it while they're working on their master plan in order to adopt an interim ordinance to start zoning?
That would be a good question for their township attorney, but I don't see why you couldn't.
And then any further movement on this planning and zoning, we have to go to Ways and Means and do a budget amendment to fund this department any further past today,
Correct. Because today is the first day of the new budget cycle.
which there was no funding in the budget for this department.
Correct.
Okay. Yes, Commissioner.
So assuming we go ahead for the removal of this ordinance and we have a public hearing and the public overwhelmingly wants us to continue, given our budget, what then do we do, Controller's Office?
Say that again.
If we have our public hearing to rescind this ordinance and our public comes in and says, no, we want the county to continue along with planning and zoning for all general law townships, what then, because of our budget, our current budget that began today, what do we do? Because we don't have funding for that department, correct?
So we moved it into a special revenue fund so that we could track it separately, and we were gonna do a settlement with the contracts. So it's in there with its own budget, but we would not have anything going into it. So the contracts, that was how it was gonna fund it, and then the regular permits. If we did this, you'd have to find money elsewhere. So to extend it out for a short period of time, we did earn additional revenues under planning and zoning in the general fund than what was expected. So we could do a budget amendment to move it. It would essentially be out of the general fund for that portion. And then the services would not be provided at the same level.
Okay. So if we do go to this public hearing, the public needs to understand that right now we don't have a budget to cover an extension to this department.
Correct.
So that would be a real topic for discussion, I think. All right, thank you.
But with the ordinance in place, we have to find the money. So that's the importance of deciding what we're gonna do about the ordinance. And then, I mean, it's the egg and chicken, or chicken come for the egg, but the two, we gotta figure it out, right?
Right.
So, I don't know what's this board want to do. Because we should give the planning and zoning, we should give them some direction in which to start moving, right?
So if you want to move forward with repealing it, it depends on the time frame, right? So if you want to go with the option that became effective December 6th, you would have to take some type of action today to direct staff to do that. If you would prefer the one that's becomes effective January 3rd, then you could take that action next month.
Okay. Does anybody on the board have a motion? Yes?
Well, I think, given what we have right now, because we only have 6 townships together, I think we should schedule that public hearing and at least find out what the public has to say about it. So I would suggest that we expedite this, so I would move that we get started on it.
Okay, I got a motion and support of
Starting the process.
instructing planning and zoning to start the process of public hearing.
Yeah.
It-
Their public hearing would be November 4th.
Okay,
Don't we have to move to rescind the ordinance first?
No, you're moving to have a public hearing to address that, but rescinding it wouldn't occur until the public hearing's been held.
yes, Commissioner.
November 4th is an election day. Should we reconsider that date?
That's the Planning Commission regular meeting date.
Okay.
So if you don't do November 4th, you would have to ask them to have a special meeting, or you would have to go back to the January 3rd and have it on December 2nd.
Okay.
Yes, Commissioner.
I'm inclined to agree with Commissioner George. I would think that attendance might be low on that day, and I'd want people to come and talk and see what they have to say. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on a special meeting or anything else, so.
Well, I mean, what are the chances, never mind, my question wasn't gonna pan out, so there's no reason to.
So I guess another option would be if it's not a public hearing, but you could direct staff to notify all of them that that's the direction the board is going, and for them to come and have a special comment period during that time. I don't know if that's,
But what would this special meeting cost us?
you'd have to pay all the planning commission members to be here. So 7 people.
Would that be about the 450 for a regular, I mean,
You'd have to
that's,
post it in the paper.
yeah, I see. Yeah, so,
Could you ask
What-
the planning commission to do it on the 5th instead? It hasn't, notice hasn't gone out for the 4th yet?
Typically what we do when they have extra meetings, their meetings are Tuesdays, so typically we try and keep it on a Tuesday just for consistency, but if Brandy thinks they would be amenable to a special meeting on a different day.
I would have to get approval from the chair to move forward with that, because meetings are scheduled at the pleasure of the chair.
I totally agree that November 4th is probably not the best day. Yes, Commissioner?
The only thing I see in conflict with that is that this committee meets on the 5th, and it would be good to have a decision, or at least some kind of consensus of what took place at the hearing. Would it be possible to shift that meeting to the 3rd, Monday the 3rd?
As Brandy just said, she's saying that the chair would have to agree to that.
Yeah.
Now, we set the meetings at the start of the year, but the chair canceled it for November 4th already.
I would assume to a lack of business, but the ordinance does say that it is at the pleasure of the chair to hold the special meetings.
Okay.
The November 4th meeting hasn't been canceled, sorry.
Oh,
The November 4th meeting has not been canceled as of yet.
Okay.
That would occur at the October 7th meeting, but currently the planning commission does not have any business on November 4th.
Yes, Commissioner.
So basically, we just have to give our general direction, and then it's up to the planning commission from there on how they want to proceed with that. We can't really control if they want to have it on the 4th or not.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, it could, if they choose to have it on the 4th anyways, it could hurt the public. Whatever, yes.
I would say that because and I don't want to have it on election day, but I think it sounds like we're going to anyway. So I would suggest that we ask the chair to, it wouldn't be a special meeting, but if there's no other business to be conducted at that meeting, just have it for that hearing, public hearing, and focus on this topic alone. And whoever shows up, shows up. So, I mean, we've got a month.
Yeah, well, I mean, they can, because we have the motion on the floor already, right? To direct the planning commission to hold a public hearing. They're being told now, so this is before their meeting, so I guess the planning and zoning chair can do as they see fit.
All right.
But we're directing them to, I mean, that's what the motion on the floor was,
Yeah.
to direct them to hold a.
Well, I would amend that to urge the chair to have that meeting on the 4th.
the 3rd.
Yeah,
No, on the,
4th is a Tuesday.
4th is the
well,
election.
yeah, but the 4th is the regularly scheduled
regular meeting
meeting.
day.
The
Right,
3rd
so-
would be a special meeting.
Yeah.
So I think we should just go along with the 4th anyway, because that's what the public is expecting, because it has not been canceled yet. So it was scheduled for election day anyway.
Can I just add one thing? You have to remember too, that depending on the board members from the townships that would want to come and speak, so that the public can hear them, they will be busy
Okay.
in their townships with election day. So it's not as much about the public, if we're going to talk about that. It's more about the townships and how busy they are with the election.
I will further amend my motion then to remove that date of the 4th and let the chair decide what date works well. But I would like to see it done before the 5th, so it can, all that information can come to this board.
yes, but that doesn't change the motion. You put it on public comment that the representative from the planning zone can attest to, plus the board can choose. to
Did I muddy the
election
waters
meeting.
enough, Brandy, or? what?
Okay.
Again,
Call the question.
Yes, we're getting a little out of hand now, but no, go ahead, Commissioner.
I was calling the question. It's a vote.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry about that. All right, then we have a motion and support. All in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
I just want to clarify the motion for the minutes. So, Mr. DeRosa, the motion is to direct staff to request the planning commission have a special meeting before November
Fifth,
5th
correct.
to discuss the topic, and to have a public hearing specifically.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I think we're done with planning and construction codes now? Okay. Thank you. Moving on to recycling.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
We just have a few general updates. The most significant update is we are officially under contract with the state of Michigan for the Materials Management Planning Work Program. And so this month, the Department of Resource Recovery and the DPA have begun working on the data collection and analysis phase of the work program. And with the signing of the contract, 2/3 of the department director's time will be devoted to the MMP per state requirement. And so in about 1/3 effort will be voted or dedicated to the department. And so I've been working really hard on making sure the department has everything it needs ready to put on great programs for the rest of the fiscal year. And we feel really good about the position we're in. Some other updates and changes. We did get our invoices from our county projects, and which are our annual events. And as I've been saying in previous reports, we've been doing really well with a lot of the changes we've made. We had to do some restructuring in our department, and with those changes, we were looking for actually better improvements. So included in the report should be the invoices, and I did put some numbers in there. So just between household hazardous waste and recycling, household hazardous waste, we had about 18,655 pounds. In electronics recycling, about 24,100 pounds, or 42,000 pounds total. And I have more detailed analysis that if anybody's interested in, we can talk more. And I am working with Logan Bailey in the Controller's office to come up with a little way that we can promote our events and everything that we've been doing. So in total for the whole year, if we include hazardous waste, electronics, and tires, the county and the department here are responsible for removing 138,942 pounds of hazardous waste and banned materials from the environment and communities here in Eaton County for proper disposal. So I think about 140,000 pounds is an incredible number, and our community really came out and supported our programs. So we look forward to improvements for next year on that. And with the mobile recycling program, we're continuing to work on our final report, and our programs are doing really well with attendance, and we are actually increasing materials in Eaton Rapids. We've been working with Eaton Rapids on promoting the program, and all of our numbers are going up with that, so we're very happy with that. Another update with the education programs, we are doing a class at Delta Township District Library on Friday, October 24th. The event program will be Composting 101, where we will be discussing just what compost is, how to maintain a healthy pile, and tips for using finished compost in the garden. And you can register on the Delta Township District Library website. So we're really excited to start rolling out our new education programs that are in line with the solid waste management plan, our ordinance, and the new requirements in the material management plan. And before we get to our action item, just a couple updates with the material management plan. Again, we've officially executed the grant agreement, and there are some changes that we need to do. Most notably with the grant was originally written before the 5% salary increases and the increases in fringe benefits, most notably healthcare. So myself will be meeting with Claudine Williams and Melissa Ballard to do the calculations to calculate the new salary rate and fringe benefit rates that'll be covered in the grant for the DPA's salary. And so we'll likely see that go through the MMPC committee or MMPC for approval. It will move on to Public Works and Planning and Human Services and Ways and Means in the full board. So we may be calling a special meeting. However, there are some complications this month. The regular meeting scheduled for October 14th, 2025 for the MMPC. There will be no business. We are in the data collection and analysis phase. So what I will be doing as the DPA is sending out updates with the research that I've been doing on the demographics, material analysis, waste hauler analysis, looking at our material recovery facilities, looking at mid-Michigan landfills and their capacities and what percentage of Eaton County waste goes through each landfill. And so through all of this data analysis, there'll be a report likely by the end of the year, calendar year, and we will be using that as our primary document for developing more plans. And so because of the cancellation of the October 14th, 2025 MMPC meeting, Hammond Farms, which is a major composter here in mid-Michigan, especially the Tri-County area, on Tuesday, October 7th, which is next Tuesday, Hammond Farms Landscape Supply at their compost site in Diamonddale, Michigan, will be holding a tour. And at that tour, they have invited representatives from Calhoun County, Ingham County, Clinton County, Berry, Ionia, and including Eaton County. Our own committee was invited. And so a little background, in 1994, yard waste was banned from landfills, and so waste haulers, they are not required and in fact will not pick up yard waste because of the statewide ban on that material. And the state is now looking at food waste, where up to 30% of our landfills are food waste. And one of the major requirements in the new materials management planning legislation is to divert food waste from landfills. And so this fiscal year with the MMP written into the grant is funding for our food waste program, and the department's going to be looking at with our mobile recycling trailer and at Sunfield Recycling Center, collecting food waste from around the communities here and working with Hammond Farms in My Green, Michigan to develop food waste programs. And we'd be looking to expand that into schools and organizations and institutions as we move forward and as the MMP laws phase in and the regulations start needing to be met. And so this tour at Hammond Farms is a great opportunity to see what other counties are already doing, what they're not doing, and it's a great place to network and get to know how these materials are going to be managed in the future. And I think it's really special that right here in Eaton County, we're going to be a major player in organics for mid-Michigan. So I'm pretty happy about that. Again, Tuesday, October 7th. If you'd like to attend the tour, please get in contact with me, contact our department, and we can get you all the information. I will be there as well as representatives from our Eaton County Materials Management Planning Committee. And lastly, we have our special recovery program, the mobile electronics program. This fiscal year, we're looking at not only the food waste program, but moving forward with our electronics recycling program. And the department went out and solicited bids, which are included in the packet. And out of all the quotes and what we've been talking to with specs and just ease of picking up or delivery, the department is recommending Beck's Trailer Sales up in St. John's, Michigan. They have the trailer that we are looking for. It's a good quality trailer. When we looked at the pricing and what it took to go pick it up in terms of hours and mileage, and they offered an excellent competitive price for the quality, and the distance is also very appealing. So for our action item this month, we are recommending the purchase of the Beck's Trailer Sales trailer for our mobile electronics program. And after we purchase this trailer, we will be taking it around on a monthly basis to our mobile recycling locations located all around rural Eaton County. And we will likely be making the program available to other municipalities throughout the county as the program develops.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Jared. So will this second trailer, will this require an additional vehicle to pull it?
No, it will not require an additional vehicle. The department owns both the Silverado and the Chevy Tahoe. And the Chevy Tahoe, the specs are more than enough to haul this trailer, so we will not need another vehicle.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we've been talking about having a purchasing policy. Do we have one now that would have an impact on this decision, or I mean, how is that?
This
Relate.
follows the purchasing policy right now, the current purchasing policy.
So-
What he did by going out and getting at least 3 bids, it
got you.
covers it.
Cool.
But yes, lots of work to do on purchasing.
Any other questions? Okay. So what we have on the floor is 8B, which is to approve the ability to him to purchase a new trailer.
Specifically from Beck's.
It's for Bex. He already had that in the budget.
Yep.
So it's not a budget amendment that's required.
The purchase.
Yeah.
It's just approving the vendor that we're
Okay.
using.
The vendor. Okay. So, I guess I go ahead and make that motion to approve them purchasing it from Beck's Trailer Sales. I got a motion and support. All in favor, signify with aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, yes.
I should probably know the answer to this, but can you very briefly explain the MMP program and what its goal is, other than I know that it will pay for some of your time, but why is that a good thing to have?
So the state of Michigan requires every county in Michigan, all 83 counties, to have a solid waste management plan that's in compliance with state and federal laws for the disposal of solid waste. And that covers everything from organics to hazardous waste to electronics to just regular household waste, construction debris. And so under these laws, haulers are obligated to follow the guidelines and make sure that we don't have toxic materials such as mercury-based materials, et cetera, getting put into landfills that can leach into the environment, into people's well water and waterways. And so about every 20 years or so, these solid waste management plans, because of developments in technology, developments in new materials, about every 20 years, these solid waste management plans are rewritten. And so the last solid waste management plan that was amended for Eaton County was in 1999. And since that last update in 1999. The state of Michigan and the federal government have looked at federal landfill capacity across the country and have decided to really focus, and this is more so the state of Michigan, on, instead of calling it solid waste, switch over the terminology to materials management. So materials management and solid waste management are essentially the same definition, but materials management encaptures more of what Eagle is looking to do. And with this new solid waste management plan, they're looking to divert as much as we possibly can from the landfill. So we're looking at plastics, metals, electronics, organics, almost everything. And with this new law, the state of Michigan is requiring us to create systems to divert anything that can be diverted from the landfill to local manufacturers, to like Hammond Farms, Pollyant Products over in Sunfield. And so how can we get these materials to local manufacturers, create a more circular economy, and really look at easing our landfill capacity? Because in some areas in the country, we are filling our landfills very, very quickly. Another thing, textiles was not something that was predicted in the last solid waste management plan. So looking at the massive volumes of textile waste with fast fashion in the last 15 years really puts a lot of pressure on our landfills. I think if we asked anyone in Eaton County, would you like a landfill in Eaton County? Most communities would say no. And so with these diversions and these plans the department's writing for diverting these materials, will ease landfill capacity and hopefully deter any need for landfills in Eaton County or mid-Michigan. So that's what we're really looking to do with these new plans.
So once the new plan is in place that complies with the law, the new law, will our haulers have the capacity to do that kind of diverting? Or will they have to change their systems at their own businesses, like for textiles, for example?
Currently, based on our analysis, I gave a presentation and report, which may be included in your packet. I can offer to send anybody the report, but Eaton County is actually compliant through 2032 for the baseline requirements that the state of Michigan has for diversion. So we have recycling access to 90% of the community in urban areas, namely Charlotte, Eaton Rapids, Grand Ledge, and Delta Township. And we also have recycling center drop-off locations that are available to people who have less access to recycling services, curbside services. So the county is actually in really good shape. I work directly with Granger and other waste haulers, and we are actively discussing. So the waste haulers are included in this process, so they will be fully aware and are actually going to be involved in writing the laws that will govern how we're going to be managing these materials in the future.
So of the 83 counties, how many are in this process now?
All 83.
Okay, so everybody will have the same standards and rules to comply with beyond 2032 or whatever it is.
Correct, yep. If you want to be a waste hauler or involved in any solid waste in Michigan, no matter what county you are in, you will be governed by similar laws. Yes.
Finally, how much is the grant the grant agreement? How much, what is it, the dollar amount?
Between $109,000 and $110,000, and that's calculations based on per capita, our populations.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would like to say, thanks for all your hard work, and please get some of that information that you gave us today to Logan to make sure it gets into the county newsletter, right? I think.
Yep.
I think some of those facts, like 30% of waste going in is, food waste. I would have never thought it was that much, so I think that would be good for the public to know and, you know, get more people to recycle and compost and stuff, so.
Right, thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to Parks and Rec.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
So this past month, I met with Berry County leadership and progressive companies to discuss paving the unpaved section of the Thornapple Trail over by Vermontville. Progressive companies did get back with an estimate, which we will be talking with at the next Parks Work Group meeting. Then the Fox Observatory now has internet access. If you look farther down in your packet, you will see the some pictures that were taken at some of our last observatory nights. And then I have a meeting with that group later on this month to discuss future partnerships with their organization. Met with Eaton County Conservation District and Resource Recovery to discuss ongoing partnerships and how we can continue that in the future. And then I'm working with Eaton County Conservation District to get Lincoln Brick Park MEEP certified, as well as looking at getting all of our other parks that fall underneath that strategic or that forest management plan also MEEP certified. Natural Capital Forestry, which is the organization that we work with for our strategic timber harvest. We will be partnering with them to host 2 community nights at Lincoln Brick Park. At each of these events, I will be present, as well as our forester, to answer any questions people may have about that harvest and why it is important for the ecology of the park. Final additions have been made to our DNR Trust Fund grant, and we will be submitting that today. And then October 15th, when they have an open public comment period for that grant, I will be going up to Muskegon to talk about our project a bit more in hopes of getting that grant awarded. If we do get it awarded, we will find out about that in December. And then at Lincoln Brick Park, we'll have 2 groups from Annie's Big Nature Lesson out there this month. This will be the first groups of the new school year. Events and programming, October and November are always pretty busy as far as programming goes. In September, we held our first fall campfire science night. It was all about Michigan trees. We participated in the Charlotte Wolfstock on September 27th. We participated in the harvest gathering through Helping Hands Food Pantry on September 7th. And we also had a salamander survey at Lincoln Brick on September 7th. All of that data from that survey has been uploaded to SparkNet, which is a citizen science organization that tracks all of the amphibians and reptiles that, you know, we have in this area. And there's actually a MSU student who is interested in rehabilitating the 2 plots that we do that survey at. So she will be working on that later this fall. October events, the fall Storybook Stroll is up at Lincoln Brick Park. That's in partnership with Grand Ledge Library. We will be at the Charlotte Fall Fest on October 4th with our rec trailer, and we will also be participating in the Grand Ledge Fall Fest on October 4th. First community night for the Strategic Timber Harvest will be October 9th. Second will be October 16th. The Timber Trails 5K will be on October 11th. And then we'll have another campfire science night on October 18th. That'll be all about owls. ABNL will run from October 20th through October 24th. We will be at the Grand Ledge Bridge Street Trick or Treat on October 24th as well as the Charlotte Halloween Parade on October 27th. So for the grounds update, we're shifting to fall cleanup mode. Summer equipment will be switched out with our winter equipment in preparation for our snow season. We currently have 2 seasonal workers And then Fitzgerald Park stairs are moving ahead as planned. They plan to be substantially completed by October 15th, and then completely finished with the project by November 4th, or November 1st. The only thing that they will be really waiting for at that point is the handrail, which is built off-site and then comes in. Completed September projects, removing dead limbs from trees around Fitzgerald Park and Lincoln Brick Park. The dock has been removed from Crandall. All of the debris from the Fox toilet demo has been, or pit toilet demos have been removed. The Paul Henry Trail was widened out on that section that is currently unpaved. All the swim buoys have been removed from Fox Park, and other trees have been removed from Fitzgerald Park. Current projects, right now, the team is working on making repairs to our pumpkin chucker for the pumpkin chuck. So far, some of those changes, if you look at some of the pictures in the packet, we've changed the control arm from a wooden 4x4 to a metal one. And instead of using a hand crank winch, it's now all electric. So hopefully we'll be able to make that work smoother at the event. Right now we're working on fall cleanup throughout the parks and winterizing Fox bathrooms after that November 1st pumpkin chuck. Other things in the packet, there's some park usage data, and then there's also some pictures of the current progress of the Fitzgerald Park stairs. Any questions?
Yes, Commissioner.
Ethan, I still get calls of fires back on the north end of Crandall Park. And apparently somebody's dug a fire pit in there. I haven't walked out to see it yet, but that's what I've been told. So question, where are we at on putting up security cameras in Crandall Park? I don't need the locations, but are we gonna expand it? And two, is there a plan in place to put security fencing on the north end at the very least to kind of curtail that?
So, per my understanding, that is coming from some of the individuals that are adjacent to the park? Okay.
Well, that's my assumption. I don't know that for
Yeah.
a fact.
Yeah, so cameras were budgeted for this year. So with the start of the new budget period, I imagine we'll be moving forward with putting those cameras up relatively soon. As far as fencing goes, that's something that I would have to discuss with our maintenance team.
Well, I think it would be prudent, so that we don't end up with a forest fire in Crandall Park.
Yeah,
Because somebody decided it was okay to light a fire after the park's closed. So I would suggest we expedite that if possible. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions?
I would just add, that Chad Powers is not here today because he's with a contractor finishing up all of the final, run-through documentation on the Fitzgerald Park stairs, so they should be open soon. I think we had planned on actually having like a little mini,
Cutting.
ribbon cutting because it's been so long since they've been closed and we want people to know that they're back open and that people can come and use them. So look for something on that soon to have a little ribbon cutting on that.
All right then. Oh, yes, Commissioner.
I was just gonna ask, I was looking at the pictures in here from the new stairs at Fitzgerald. They look really good from what I can tell. Who was the contractor on this again? Was this Moore Trosper? Is that who we went with?
Yeah, more Trosper.
Cool, thank you. I appreciate it.
I added
Awesome.
a couple more pictures to that, Ethan, just so you know.
Oh yeah, I was like, there's so many in here. I was like, it looks really nice.
Chad sent me a couple too. He's like, is it too late to add these? And I'm like, oh, Ethan already has pictures. And I was like, well, these are different angles than the other pictures. And it looks so good. So I just went ahead and put them in anyway.
And the Fox Park Observatory pictures are nice in there too, so thank you.
Agree. And once again, I'd like to say it again, the more you can get stuff like this into the monthly newsletter, to let the public know.
Yeah.
That way the other, the commissioners can try to promote the newsletter also. That way we can let our people know, so.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much.
Awesome.
Appreciate that. All right, so we're moving on to Claudine and committee appointment updates.
Yeah, nothing real big to report here. We're just still working our way through that list of anybody who is up for appointment, reaching out to them and confirming if they would like to be reappointed or not, and then work on public notification from there.
When do you have to do the notification? Because if the vacancies will have to, December meeting, right? We'll have to vote on, okay. So we have,
In the past,
Basically
we've done them anytime in November or December, so.
Okay.
Yep, we still have plenty of time.
we have plenty of time.
Claudine, where's the easiest place to find out the list of committees that need appointees? I know we saw it last month, I thought.
Yep, it's in last month's packet, and I can email you a copy of it too, if you would like. And then we did, Jane, I know you would ask me for a citizen involvement application, and we were still working on a new one. There is a new one.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
I'd like to share that, but I'd like,
Yep.
but people need to know what the committees are and.
Yeah, and it's on our website. We can add what the committees are on the website, but that application, I'm looking real quick. I thought that it was added to that front page, so I'll double check with Logan on that. Because we talked about adding that right to the front page.
Like a link. Okay.
Yeah, I think we maybe were waiting to take down all of the old budget stuff. I think that's the area he was gonna use, so he's listening, so
Okay. All right, then.
we'll get it fixed.
Moving on to miscellaneous.
No miscellaneous.
There is nobody in the gallery, so there is no public comment. So that moves us to adjournment. So adjourn till November 5th.